What's up, everybody? This is your boy D. Welcome back to the NewsAngl, bitch.
Yay! And it's your girl CJ.
And it's the Black Ariel. I'm getting my life right now in these red kind of dread braid things. Like, they're super cute.
I mean, they are. I really enjoy them.
I'm kind of living for myself right now.
Oh my gosh. So, NewsAngl, welcome back. There's a lot going on this week. Lots of people talking shit, lots of people acting crazy, and viruses going wild in the wild. Like, it's like insane right now, especially overseas. People here aren't really reacting so crazy though. I'm kind of surprised. But we're gonna go in order. Let's talk about the Super Bowl, because that's the biggest thing that just happened over the weekend. What do we want to talk about first? The Ass-tastic halftime show.
We want to talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs won. Let's talk about how many people didn't know that there was a Kansas City, Kansas.
Oh my God. I know. Well, including the president.
Including the president. Now, I'm biased because I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, so I know there's a fucking difference. But there's so many people that didn't. And
but here's the thing. It's like a team that's like well known. That's from there.
You would think.
It's just so weird to me. It's really odd that the president tweeted that shit too. He was
no. It's not odd that the president did. It's exactly. So
that's exactly what he was supposed to do.
That's what he was supposed to do, because Obama would never.
No, he would know better. But seriously, I enjoyed it, what I saw of it, and I was reminiscing. I was actually telling my kids about J.Lo, because we used to dance to lots of J.Lo songs when we were on the dance team. And I was remembering this incident when we were doing Let's Get Loud, and one of the guys fucking what is it? The glow sticks flew into the audience. Remember that shit? Was that you?
Yeah.
Was that you?
He was ready to get loud.
And I just watched it fly. So I just had fun. Look, that was horrible. I was so fucking embarrassed.
I was like, oh, somebody's shit went flying.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it didn't hit anybody, so we were okay. Like,
how do you know that, CJ?
I mean, nobody screamed. Nobody.
Oh my God.
But I mean, and we did some Shakira songs too, so that was me just reminiscing in front of the TV. And I really thought they did an amazing job. First of all, let's talk about how Shakira is 43 and J.Lo is 50.
And those bitches look amazing.
Talk about athletic. Like, do you know how much strength it takes to just pull yourself up on anything? Like, right. Just getting up off the couch is a hard thing to do sometimes. Like, was she on a pole? Like, come on.
She was on a pole, like, killing it because I didn't get to watch the whole thing through. I ended up watching, like, in segments.
Right.
So to see all of the Afro-Cuban dancing that Shakira was doing, to see everything that J.Lo came out with, I mean, their stamina, and I loved that they wore the outfits they did as wives, as moms, because, you know, we're always told we can't be this, that, and the other once you're a mom or a wife, and these bitches was like, nah, fuck that shit.
Fuck what you talk about.
Fuck what you talk about.
And J.Lo brought her daughter on stage with her, dressed like that. I was real proud.
You know what? I'm same, sis, because now that I've been working out and I'm like a hot mom.
Oh, we gonna hear it from her this summer.
You gonna definitely hear from me. I am so here for women wearing what they want to wear and being who they want to be without that stigma of, well, you can only be this sexy because you have this, 12-year-old kid, or you can only do this because you're someone's wife now. Fuck that shit.
Right.
We've been putting boxes long enough, so I'm very happy she brought her daughter out. And I was so happy that her daughter was dressed like a little 11, 12-year-old. Like, can we get into the fact that she was so appropriately dressed?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like seeing young girls dressed too grown. And I feel like some other celebrity, like Kim Kardashian, and them would have had their daughter in the same sparkly bodysuit. And they would have been up there. Nah, I wouldn't have been cool with that.
Yes. Also, because I'm an old mom now, who was the dude? I have no idea who that was.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
I heard Bad Bunny was.
I have no idea who the fuck that is.
Big here on the West Coast, and I know, like, in Florida.
Oh, okay.
New York, the East Coast mainly.
Oh, he was huge when I went to New York.
Really?
Yes.
huge.
To me, he looked like what's his face? You know that white comedian who does like all those accents and make movies out of them? Who am I talking about? What is his name?
Oh my gosh, Sasha Baron.
Yeah, is that his name? That's all I saw. When I saw him in the silver outfit, I was like, oh no.
It's the do-rag. He usually doesn't wear that do-rag like
Well,
that.
whatever it was not working for me. I was like,
Yeah, he normally doesn't wear the do-rag.
I said, is he lost? And what is
Not
his
is he lost.
ethnicity? I have no idea what he was.
He's Puerto Rican, right?
Is he Puerto Rican?
I thought he was Puerto Rican. That's why I was like, man, he's big here in New York, and that would make sense because Puerto Ricans.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I feel better about the whole situation now that you guys are telling me this.
Better.
I
I couldn't believe people were complaining about the sexiness or the fact that there were these artists that were rapping or singing in their own language. Like, damn.
Oh, and let's talk about how, the what?
That's what America is now. There are people who live here. Unfortunately for you, there's people that live here that speak that language. So I understand.
Right.
Unfortunately for you.
And also, like, people made a big deal about Shakira's ode to her parents, like Lebanese side, where she did that thing with the tongue and like the yelling. People were upset about it. I was like, but that y'all are like so uncultural. Like,
They were quick to make a meme about it, which to me, I almost feel like everything is fair game.
Everything is a fair game now.
But when I got to know the history about it, and because I didn't know that, I didn't know she was anything other than 100% Colombian, and she's not.
Gotcha.
So to know that background, I could appreciate it more because they were really trying to include everybody and to even see the different shades of women that were up there.
I know, right? It wasn't like just one. I was like, wow, that is like a whole rainbow of women. Like it was amazing.
And I thought that was beautiful because we can, in every culture they have their light skin, dark skin thing. So it's easy to have that perfect Puerto Rican that's that color or this perfect Colombian that's this color. So to see the different hues and hair textures and everything, I thought they did a great job. I love the flex of her singing Born in the USA and busting out the Puerto Rican flag. I was like, yes, bitch. Like,
ooh, can we talk about that for a second? So it went over a lot of people's heads when they had the kids in the cages and singing Born in the USA.
With a little light up.
Yeah, because that was like definitely for all our Hispanic peeps down south in the camps. And like some people either didn't notice or some people were really upset that they included it in the halftime. I'm like, where else are they supposed to do it?
Shit getting included somewhere.
I mean,
always the same shit with Beyonce. Like,
right.
Oh yeah.
When Beyonce got too black for them.
Yeah, way too black for them.
Did you see that SNL skit? Did you see the SNL skit that they did about that?
No.
Or was it Mad TV? I can't remember.
But
it was right after the halftime show, and then it was this lady walking down the street. And she's warning people. She's like, guys, Beyonce's black.
Oh, I've seen it.
Oh my God, no. And all the black people were like, yeah, we already knew she was black. And all the white people were freaking the fuck out. Like, no, she's black.
It's a little weird that they, I don't know. And
that's what happens when you play like that perfect house nigga so well, and then you just bust it all out. They do not know.
Come on now. And I posted this on our page right afterwards with Adam Levine shirtless from last year's Super Bowl.
That part.
And nobody had a problem because it was a guy without a shirt. So all the women
I know me and
okay.
my mama did. We was like, what the hell Adam doing?
I mean, I'm just saying. But like, so to me, I feel like a lot of insecurity turns into anger with these people, right? Like the fact that there was two women well into their mid-age looking like that, dancing, moving like that, being athletic, like triggered some people out there, like, which I don't understand. You should be celebrating women who can do shit like that. Like, come on, dude.
It's probably because it was them.
Wait, say what?
I bet you I know where 90% of the complaints came from.
Your customers.
Hippopotamus. Yeah, I said it. That's where it came from.
I'm done. Yeah. I'm so done.
You know what that is. We grew up around it.
That's true. Yes. But so the second part of the Super Bowl I wanted to talk about, I just posted it on my Facebook. I might go and post it on our page too. But during the National Anthem, apparently the President Trump was goofing off. Basically what he was doing is he was doing this orchestra thing, like a conductor thing. And then he was like pointing at people. And then he was like,
Commander-in-Chief though.
But my issue is that it wouldn't be an issue had he not picked out Kaepernick for kneeling, or anybody else for sitting through or kneeling through the national anthem, who was doing that to raise awareness about racism. Him doing this is him just being dumb. Like, he just goofing off.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
The fucking
And
president, he better respect that fucking anthem, because my ass walking home from wherever in
you're just
Okinawa on the
standing.
bench at
Oh
6
my
o'clock in the
God,
fucking
yes.
afternoon in the heat, and I gotta stop and stand at attention until the fucking national anthem stops.
Because
Everyone stopped.
and you
gotta
can
do that
tell
shit too.
you can tell who civilians are who's never been around on base, because they're like, what just happened? Because it looks
Why is
like a
everybody
flash mob's
stopping?
about to
Right.
happen, because
It
everybody
does.
stops.
It's like eerie how quickly everyone
Everyone
stops.
stops.
Or even before, you know what tripped me out? Coming back to the States and going to the movie theater, I was like, we ain't playing national anthem. We ain't standing up in this bitch.
I was getting ready to stand. I was like, wait, nobody's standing.
Nope. I had my popcorn. Oh, we not, y'all don't do that here? Okay.
Okay.
Just sit down.
I'm telling you, I was like really like kind of confused. I was like, oh, I thought this was a normal thing, because I never knew anything else, to be honest. Like,
What?
you know, but like, to me, here's my issue. Like, yes, I'm mad at the president for doing that. Also, I'm still waiting for all the people who had something to say about Cap, you know, kneeling. They silent on the news feed. They silent on social media.
They typically are. Like, Trump fans and supporters are really scary to me, in the sense of there's no logic there. They will support everything and anything this man does, and I'm like, I can't rock with anybody that 100% supports and agrees with everything, and then they make excuses like an abused woman. I'm like, we know he beats you. Yeah. He beats everybody. Like,
well,
you do not have to make excuses for this shit.
I just watched a woman defend him talking about, you know, grabbing pussies, and what she was saying was, well, it was a secret mic they recorded. Like, so he was being real honest. Like, that means he was being real. He didn't know he was being recorded. And she's like, so that doesn't even count because he didn't know he was being recorded. Like, what logic is that? I don't
honestly, it's anything to believe what they want to believe and anything to be right.
Say it again.
Like, Tyrone didn't know he was being recorded when he went to jail for stealing all that shit up out that auto shop. But
see, I'm saying, I guess it doesn't work the same way for all of us. I don't know. And you know, like, there was another post that was very curious to me because I didn't know about this. Apparently, Cardi B turned down doing the halftime show.
Oh, she was offered? Yeah, wait a minute. Is that why they played her song and Bad Bunny was there?
Maybe.
Because I Like It Like That song came on and I was like, oh shit, this is Cardi.
I think so.
But Shakira was singing it and then Bad Bunny came out.
And so what I was reading on somebody else's article, because this is, you know, I like to read both sides of everything, because a lot of people were like very happy that there was Latina women who got on stage for this. But the other side of it was that Cardi B declined because she wanted everybody to understand she didn't support the NFL being Afrocentric. You know what I mean? And she wanted to like stand with all the people who have been like abused by the NFL or who's been done wrong by them, like Cap and everybody else. And so this article was talking about how could other Latina women be okay taking that contract that Cardi B said no to when they don't stand together. Like, if we're not the same front in Afro-Latina women and Afro-Latino men, like, how can we have a community that's going to be strong? And I understand what she was saying. I was like, you know, if I was Cardi B, I would have said no to the NFL, which is why I stopped watching the Super Bowl. I don't support it because I know what goes on behind the scenes now. Like, I used to be about it. Like, I used to watch college football too, like religiously. Seriously, come on. I mean, you know, Nebraska, fucking the Huskers.
I was just going to say, honey, I didn't get into it until I moved to Nebraska.
Right, man. Like, I moved to Husker Nation is no joke. I mean,
they stuck you in when you moved to the Midwest. Yeah, you definitely get into football somehow, some way out here.
Right. And so, you know, it was a big part of me doing stuff. But then as I learned what they stood for and the things that they did to people, and even the way they treated some of their athletes like Cap and other people who, you know, stood their ground for what they believed in, like, I get what Cardi B did. She didn't want to do it. And then I guess I understand why some people are mad that other Latinas went ahead and went with it, even though they hired like Afro Latinas to do the dancing and stuff like that, because that's all she hired is what I understood.
Yeah, it's almost like I get why somebody would say no. I also get why somebody would do it. If I was to say yes, I wouldn't just do it like Big Boy joined in last minute for Maroon 5 and them last year.
Right.
I wouldn't just do it and not make a statement. It's like, okay, if I'm doing this, Puerto Rican flags going up. I'm having kids in cages. I'm making a statement about this.
And I think they did a good job of using their platform to make awareness happen in that sense. So I'm not really mad at it either. I just thought it was interesting that there was two whole different like perspectives on the whole thing that went down.
So do you guys think a lot of it is just the NFL strategy to try to maintain its viewers?
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because last
Why
Super
even
Bowl,
bring Jay-Z and them in? Like, that's business.
So last Super Bowl, I was super curious about it because they had Dr. King's daughter there, right, with her whole family during halftime, right before halftime or during in between something. They made commercials with about, I want to say 80% Black folks in it, and Black musicians, Black athletes, Black people. I knew what they were doing. It's because they lost so much support from the Black society because Cap was kneeling and they weren't supporting him. Like their ratings went down.
Because us in sports is like peanut butter and jelly.
Right. Right. And I think they still are trying to bring back more viewers because obviously even the commercials were super Black. Super POC. Like these 2 years have been interesting to me because these 2 years of commercials on the Super Bowl have been super Afrocentric and I've never seen it before. You know what I mean? Because I've watched it religiously since I was a wee little child. Like, I'm serious. Because even in
Mondays.
Well, I mean, because remember when you go to school overseas, that the teachers will put it on TV.
We had Super Bowl Monday.
Yeah, we sure did. That's how we saw Janet get exposed.
Yep, we sure. I'm just saying, like, I mean, even overseas, because they would play it live. So if you were lucky enough to have cable in your classroom, the teachers would put it on. We just didn't even do work. We just watched football.
Yeah, it's a huge global, extra super American event to watch the Super Bowl, even if you don't even like fuck with football. I'm a type of person where I'm not big into football like that. I'll get kind of into the playoffs, but it's like if I ain't do nothing else all year, I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl because it's just what you do.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like a couple of our other holidays where we just use it as an excuse to have family time and eat.
Yes, you get together, you drink, you get great snacks.
Like
a lot of finger food.
I love Super Bowl parties.
We actually ended up just doing engagement photos instead of doing all that. I know. We had to do a redo. I didn't like my first set of photos because that's who I am.
Of course you did.
No, the second
photos are perfect. She's like, still not good enough.
I don't know. I just like this set better. I'm going through it today. But anyway, I mean, it was interesting. I'm just waiting for all the Cap haters to come out and say something about the press because I think he's way, way more disrespectful in the way that he was doing what he was doing during.
And he should be held to a higher standard. But,
absolutely.
His supporters don't feel that way. So.
Well, I mean, he has literally said that if the national anthem plays, you should be standing tall and proud. Like those are his words. Like I watched him say it on video. You know what I mean? Like, so for him to say that and then to play stupid and point at people. Look, his wife was standing there with her hand over the heart the entire time and didn't move. His wife, who is not from here.
I am so, if I don't feel bad for nobody else, I feel really bad for her because I feel like she is ready to go.
I feel like she never signed up for this shit.
I bet she didn't. No, she was, you know what she signed up for? She signed up for an old white man with a lot of money that she could fuck until he died and gain all the riches from. That's what she signed up for. I don't care what anybody says.
You running for what?
Listen.
And you know what? And I bet you that she didn't think that he was going to win anyway. Even
though no.
I'm just saying, she probably
she was like, you need me to make a speech? I'll just, do what Michelle did.
Right. She wasn't even... She didn't think it was going to happen. She was just out here drinking, just, baby, you do what you do.
Because I feel like her whole demeanor during the campaign and now is different. Even those moments where every time he's trying to get close to her, she's moving away, she's taking her hand back. Like,
man, you know why? Because she probably sleeping with one of the bodyguards. She don't need him seeing all of that.
I mean, I definitely would be. Have you seen him?
Oh, God. Do they have kids together?
They do. They have little Baron.
Oh, Baron's his kid with her.
I remember his name because I love that name.
I need to go read the books about them. That's what I need to do. But anyway, I digress. one more topic before we go. Actually, let's take this to the next half because I think it'll take a long time because we're gonna talk about David
It better
Schwimmer.
not. It's 11:35.
Well, we gotta cut real quick so I can put my commercial in. So give me 1 second. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Oh, I love how she says that. We'll be right back.
I'm done.
We'll
I'm
be
done.
right back.
Wait, we're still recording. Hold on, I can't get it to stop. And we're back. So
I was
part.
waiting for him to say bitch again. I thought he was going
Not
for
bitch.
it.
No, do we need to say that so many times? Just let's talk about David Schwimmer and his like ass-tastic dumbness.
I know CJ was very bothered by him saying this.
Listen, let me tell you why I was bothered. It's because I watched the show pretty religiously, and I think I've seen each episode. Yeah, because I've watched that, and like all those sitcoms from that era, I think I've watched all of it. Just because that was something you grew up on. We didn't have reality shows like we do now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, who grew up on? Because I ain't watch Friends.
I grew up on. We didn't have reality shows because I watched Friends. I watched Seinfeld. I watched In Living Single. I watched like Family Matters. We watched Moesha, Sister. Moesha. But like to me, that was in the same group of sitcoms, you know. So I grew up watching all of that. So that's what I mean by that. But the thing that bothered me is he came out recently and said that he was on set of Friends and always made sure that he had diverse women playing opposite of him as girlfriends, because you know every week or every other week all of them would have different love interests just like any other sitcoms would do. But he was like, I try to make sure, like, you know, sometimes it was an Asian girl, like that girl he brought back from France was the Asian girl. Gab Union was one of his girlfriends too on there.
I remember seeing her up there.
And you know, a few other people. But my issue is that he also said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, that we need to all come together and make a version of Friends that's POC, Black or Latino or whatever, without him understanding.
He's definitely paraphrasing. It was something along the lines of, he said it almost like flippantly to me, the way I read it. Was like, I don't know, maybe there should have been a Black Friends or an Asian this or whatever.
Well, yeah. And what I don't understand is he doesn't understand that he was in the fake version of Living Single. Like you were in.
A lot of people don't know that, because I saw an interview where Queen Latifah said the president of the network was asked if he could have any show, like what would he take, and he said Living Single, and literally that same year, within that time, Friends came out. Now Queen Latifah handled it way more humbly than what I had. Granted, great career.
That's why she queen.
Right. That's why she is a queen, because baby,
my princess ass would have just pouted.
Listen, because I'm like, I know, because although I can't say what was a better show because I didn't watch Friends like that, I love Living Single. I will still stop and watch reruns. It was so funny. It was so great to see the different versions of Black you could be. So you could be Maxine Shaw, attorney at law, or you could be like Loopy Sinclair, like I love, and then Regine, because you know all the wigs, baby. I was into it. Like,
well, I will say this. I will say this. I think Living Single was a way better show, knowing what I understand now about life and society and relationships and stuff, because on Friends, they definitely, like, it would not be a viable show now because it would be absolutely horrendously not politically correct at all. Like, they talk about fat people in a funny way. Like, you just don't do that, because now we understand that a lot of people who are overweight may have medical conditions and things like that. It's not like that type of funny anymore. You know what I mean? Like, like the whole time in that show, they keep referring Monica, because Monica used to be fat in high school. She had no boyfriends and things like that. Or
I
like,
did see a clip of that where she was in this epic fat suit.
Yeah, and it was terrible fashion suit, by the way. And also my thing was, the reason I was upset is because not only did he not understand that he was in a show that was the white version of Living Single, so essentially stolen the idea, he also claimed to have stood up for people of color, but only for women to be arm candy on the show as his opposite love interest. He didn't do that and tell his co-workers, hey, like, he didn't go to Matthew Perry or, like, you know, Jennifer Aniston, like, don't you guys want some POC people to be on the show with us? Like, can you, like, you know, stand up for them and say, hey, like, we can have some POC men on here. I do not remember any POC men on there. I may be wrong, and if they did, If they did, it might have been 1 or 2 episodes that I may have missed, but I doubt it.
It was easier for society to swallow a white man with a black woman than it would be for
I
them
understand
to
that, but
swallow
that's
a
to the
black man
point
with
that
a
we were
white
talking
woman.
about earlier. That's the problem, though, because
Yeah.
we've been indoctrinated time after time after time that it's not okay for like other than white guys having darker women or exotic women on their arms. You know what I
Right.
mean? The
Or
opposite.
they let it be okay, a certain type of black guy. So when you have a Tay Diggs and a Tiger Woods,
Right.
people ain't really blinking twice at them with white women.
Right.
Or the dude that played Carlton Banks on Fresh Prince, Alfonso,
Right.
I forget his last name. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that he had a white wife, I'm like,
But see, and now,
right.
so what I was surprised at was, what is it? Is it Jordan Peele? He has a white wife.
I thought she was like Italian or something.
Still white.
Oh, definitely still white.
Still Caucasian.
But I'm saying.
I'm just saying,
to play CJ's devil advocate, I think she's that white that people let go, where it's
because
like, oh,
she's
you're not
foreign.
like Arkansas. You're not Arkansas, Alabama white.
But that's what I mean, though.
Was looking crazy, like, oh, okay.
But see, but if he goes to Italy, though, he's still black.
Well, you still nigga no matter what. Jay-Z said that.
That's what I'm saying. Just like Meghan Markle. So to me, it was just a weird thing that David Schwimmer would say something crazy like that to me. And then on the other hand,
he lives in his perfect white bubble, so
he
none of that's
does.
weird. That's
He's
very
lost.
on brand. That's very on brand. Come on now.
She said
none of that's weird. And ain't no way Jennifer Aniston and the rest of them was even thinking about niggas and nobody else was saying.
Of course
not. No way. They were trying to just be like, look, let's keep this going. Let's negotiate for $1 million a pop per episode. They was on their bread. Like that.
I mean,
they were like, we're not gonna. It's not broken. We're not trying to fix it. Nothing. We ain't trying to add nothing. No, the people clearly like this. The ratings show they like this. Why fuck up the formula? I ain't saying that shit's right. I'm just saying when they know they got the black people watching, no white people watching, everybody from what I understand, black, white, whoever, there were a lot of people watching this shit.
Like, I mean, so and that's like, why, and part of the reason why I say, like, really, now that I understand the world better, that Living Single is a way better show is because that was one of those shows that, if you look back, I don't know if you've seen the collage picture, they used to rep HBCU like schools in their outfits and stuff like that. And like, to your point, what you were saying, like everybody had different careers and like whatever they wanted to do, they did, and they like lived on their own.
Love life was like everything to me.
Oh, for sure.
See her go through, oh, but I want this job, but this guy, but then this guy comes back, and I was just like,
listen, as a thick girl in the 90s, that gave me life. Let me tell you.
I loved it. Her
let me tell you.
Her makeup was always on point. I have never, or whether she's been on screen, whether she's been on TV, or whether she's been in her rap videos, I ain't never seen Queen Latifah just look straight out crazy.
I've never seen a paparazzi get her, ever. Have you? Have you? Never.
No, never. She's like, and you won't.
No, seriously, like I feel like she was like, between her and like people like Missy Elliott, like I think I looked up to them a lot more, especially being overseas, surrounded by tiny people, you know.
Isn't that depressing?
Like, it's just the craziest thing.
Small. You go so,
I mean, my mom was tiny too, like, you know, like, and then to be like part of a family that has all tiny people on the other side on top of it, and oh girl, like I'm so glad that there was a Queen Latifah and a Missy Elliott and all those people when I was
goes to your point, like you said, and like we keep saying, representation.
Yes, but now
all this.
onto a cool white guy who was at the BAFTA Awards over this weekend. Joaquin Phoenix, where he took the time after winning his award for Joker.
Oh, he made the time.
Oh, he sure did. He sure did. To talk about how he realized that he is privileged in a way that other people are not, and other people being Black people. And he took the time to tell everyone how he felt about the privileged whites, and how all these award shows and others should really take a look back at what they're doing right now, because there were so many people who just got overlooked, and not just like I don't think he was just talking about Black folks either. I think he was talking about women too in general, because there were so many women directors and stuff and actresses that got overlooked as well. And I
think he would have included them, but when you listen to the speech, and please, whoever hasn't like heard it, take the time to listen to it. He definitely just calls out people of color, and I'm living for it. And I'm living for him calling out himself, because it's one thing when people say, yeah, there's a problem and something
he said he was part of the problem.
It's another thing to say I'm part of it because I'm benefiting off this shit, and we're benefiting from a system that's been set up. And I loved when he made the point of that nobody wants a handout. This is not about
that was so important.
It was so important because so many people who are not of color are very quick to be like, you know, you just need to work harder. You need to do this. You need to do that. And
like you got to earn it.
Yeah, and it's like you're completely forgetting every time we did try to earn something or make our own, you burned it down, you destroyed it, you made it harder for us. And there's still things that you're benefiting from, even in the entertainment world, which is still important because these images and media, they run stuff. So this shit is important.
Yes.
And I love that he said that, especially since he's clearly on his way to win an Oscar. And I hope he does, because his performance was phenomenal in Joker. And I'm sure that speech at the Oscars is going to be just as epic. But what I was kind of disappointed in is when the camera went up to the faces in the audience, baby, they did not seem to be
oh my God, they were so upset. They were so upset.
They were not feeling it. Their faces were so blank. And you know how somebody say some real shit? Like I've noticed throughout the last probably 6 or 7 award shows, especially when women go up there and they're like, hey, equal pay, more female directors.
They're like this.
Those claps will come before the person can even speak. Baby, when I tell you nobody clapped until what scene was done, they didn't say shit. And I'm like, that's because all of like, look, 98% of the room was like white. I'm like, that's because, you know, you're all benefiting from it. And that's why I said, I don't ever feel like how this world is set up in that way for them to win or get ahead in any little way is ever going to stop until they decide, hey, I'm not going to be this selfish and sit back and take these benefits.
Well, that's what he was saying, you know, like he was like, you know, all of this is it's not up to like the POC communities and societies to dismantle this. He was saying that it was up to the white people to dismantle this.
He said they're the ones that set it up. They're the ones that got to knock it down. I'm like, oh my God, I want to have your babies. Like,
oh my God.
Thank you.
But you know what? And that's, I really wanted to bring those two guys together tonight on this episode because I want people to understand that we understand that not all white people are like David Schwimmer. We know that there are Joaquin Phoenixes out there too. I'm married. I'm going to marry one. Joaquin Phoenix. I have a hard time saying his name because I want to say it differently. I know. But like, what? But you know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to understand that there are two types of these people out there still. There's less, I don't want to say there's less vocally racist people than you think there are, but there's a lot of diet racist people who don't know they're racist because they don't realize that they're privileged in a way that they can't explain.
And I'm going to make a post about this too and ruffle some feathers for Black History Month because I'm really tired.
Ruffle up feathers, maybe. What's his name? Stephen Gary the troll will come out again.
Maybe our troll will come up. But it really does seem like there's this attitude of, hey, we live in America and everything is fair and just, and you just need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and work harder. That's how I feel like they're
with that same narrative, though, with us picking up ourselves by our bootstraps, every time somebody does do something great, you got motherfuckers hollering affirmative action or it was a handout. You know what I mean? You can't.
Yeah, it's always something.
Working. You know what I'm saying? For your shit. The shit is crazy.
It really is. Girl. So yeah, I'm not feeling that shit at all. But you're right. I like that diet racism. I like that.
It's true. That's my favorite word right now because I feel like I use it when I try to explain it to people who are like, "Oh no, I'm not that kind of white person." I'm like, but what I'm trying to tell you is that you're passive aggressive in a way because you think that it's not affecting anybody around you by you saying or doing what you're doing that we're talking about.
What were they calling it?
Microaggressions,
racism, whatever. Listen, that little shit matters, and people are not tripping when they're telling you, hey, this wasn't the move for you to say something.
Because here's the thing, like I just want to put it out there. I don't know how many white folks actually listen to our podcast, but if you are listening, if you've ever said the words, "I'm not racist," but those are microaggressions. Those are assumptions that you're making about some race that you're about to talk about.
Or I guarantee you, if you say something and you follow it up with, well, I'm not this because my best friend's Black, my uncle's second cousin's Black. If you gotta say that shit, you said some fucked up shit before you said that. Because you should not have to say something like that to justify whatever you said that was ignorant or insensitive.
Right.
Doesn't mean we hate you. Doesn't mean you hate us. There's just a lot of ignorance and insensitivity to what we go through on a daily. And there's I'm posting about this shit. I know. No, because when I think about it, I personally know some that have said stuff and I didn't catch it. But then when I really sit with my ancestors and let the inner slave in me get mad again, I'll be like, what you said was insensitive. It was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, what you said was, and you were too comfortable around me to even say that shit. Because if you're not scary black to them,
well, that's my new thing. It started in the middle of 2019, but that right there where people are comfortable saying the things that they say to me, I realized that I've let them be comfortable, so I'm no longer doing that. So if you come at me or say something that I know is inappropriate, I will call you out. We can have a conversation. It's out of love for me in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If you say something and I think that we need to have a conversation about it, it's because I care about you. Because if I didn't, I'd just call you a bitch and move on with my life. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like,
feel privileged to have the conversation. So
like I might repost the thing about the Home Depot lady from last week too, because I just could not, because that lady was obviously comfortable that I was black and she was black and she said the craziest thing. Now, that's not racism, that's bigotry, because you can't be POC and be a racist. It doesn't work that way. And I'm sure
it does, because you guys own slaves.
The Irish were slaves too. Oh my God, that's
that way. I googled it. I know.
The Irish were slaves too, but next month everybody gonna be St. Patrick's Day happy. So I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just saying. Before we wrap it up, one last thing real quick, a little update on the coronavirus situation that's happening. It's real out there, y'all. Like,
they got a Titanic boat full of people.
I really hope that everybody understands that I've said it on the other episode too, there are several different strains of the coronavirus. I know there's memes and things going around. People are like, oh my God, it's on the back of a Lysol can. Yes, because this virus has been around for decades. It's not new. What's new is the strain of the virus that is giving people respiratory problems. The strain that is like a little bit more deadly than the rest of them is this one strain. There's like 6 or 7 out right now. People are actually recovering from them too. So if you keep up with the hand washing, and if you can't wash your hands, you have like Germ-X or like Purell with you. Alcohol does you good too. Just don't overdo it with the alcohol, because then it goes immune to it. But you just have to have good hygiene. I don't know why people are panicking hardcore, but I will say this.
Because they get crazy ass texts from their friends like you that's like, stock up on water and wash your hands.
Yes, definitely be prepared.
I'm like, girl, this ain't TC1. Like, chill the fuck
out. If you don't know what TC1 is, if you lived in the Pacific, that's Typhoon Condition 1, when schools get shut down. Only military personnel and essential personnel go to work.
Yeah, that was a shout out to my military.
Yes, military brats and friends.
I was so hyped. I was like, TC1, nigga? Cool.
Yeah, remember we used to have TC Radio, where the radio station would just like take requests and play all these dope songs.
I loved it. What are you talking about? I tried to
record it on my tape player and shit.
I loved it so much.
But no, so like I realized that I was talking to one of our listeners. He always inboxes us with like great memes and stuff that I'd be like, hey, I'm stealing this, and we have conversations. But the media is definitely not reporting the same thing across the globe. It is really weird. I know I've said this a few times before. I have Japanese cable and I watch it, and right now there is a cruise ship in Japan that is quarantined and will be quarantined for the next 14 days.
And it has we were discussing earlier about 3,000 or
so there's like 2,500 passengers and like 1,000 crew members, so 3,500 people or so. So this morning when I was watching the news, there was only 3 people infected, and then now tonight they're saying there's 10. Wow. Globally there's over, I think, 24,000 people last time I checked that are infected by this virus. And I know China has just built a whole bunch of like boxes basically to call hospitals. Have you guys seen that scene yet?
I've seen it because I've started seeing memes about it already when people are like, oh, so we can't get shit fixed over here, but they building hospitals.
Well, Asians work fast, so what can I say? You see that pothole Japan had that they fixed in a day and a half? Come on now. Like,
man, listen, meanwhile, the streets of fucking Cleveland, I'm like, so we can't get shit.
But here's my question, though, about the hospitals being built, and this is maybe my critical thinker situation happening. They're building all these hospitals to house thousands of people in China. I'm not understanding the logistics. And what I mean by that is, how are they going to get enough doctors and nurses and technicians and, you know, medication to them if they put 20,000 people in one place? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just gonna be left for dead, or they just gonna wait it out?
I watch too many of those zombie films and stuff like that. So
which look like, do you remember that zombie film? I can't remember which one it was, where they stacked the zombies in cages. Do you remember that?
No.
I can't remember what movie it is. I'm gonna have to find it.
Are you talking about 28 Days Later? Because I know they had them in cages.
I've seen that one.
There's one, I can't remember what it was.
That one had like a sequel too, but I know they had them. But from my extensive research of watching all that sci-fi shit, normally when they do that, it ain't good. It's not a good look for those people. Even when I watched Cloverfield and they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with the people that were going to attack by like the monsters, little crazy babies, and they had built these little makeshift hospitals. And they had their hazmat suits, and they put people in the back, and these people would be dying either because of what happened to them, because they weren't getting to them fast enough, or they would kill them. And I think they do a lot of that stuff to contain shit and be like, hey, if we need to get rid of people,
they just go and flame it up. Like,
we can do it like
that's
this.
my question.
You know what I mean?
I just don't believe that logistically it's feasible that they would bring enough staff in to take care of thousands of people who are sick like that. But you know what I'm saying?
That they can bring in troops to assist with the extermination of these people.
That part.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, honestly, they don't even need troops for that. They can literally have drones that just and
right now
by a biovirus or anything at this point. I'd be feeling like they really be experimenting with shit. You know, I feel like everybody's governments are in bed together, so it's kind of like, look,
well, yeah. So
you do that. I feel like that's all like corrupt, real
so
shit.
I don't know if I sent you guys this info or not, but Rob told me the other day that some professor at Harvard got arrested for helping the lab in China learn how to manipulate viruses like this. They were paying him $50K a month. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the craziest part is this virus is so manipulated. If this is really true, what they're saying and reporting is really true, because this virus, unlike any other strain of flus, you can get it by contact, person to person, without the person having symptoms. Regular flu symptoms, regular flus, you have to have the symptoms to pass it to somebody. This one you don't. It can be incubated and it'll pass on to the next person. Also, most flu strains, once they get to your digestive system, the acid there kills it. This one doesn't. You can pass it fecally also.
God, CJ, you're like a goddamn robot.
My cousin calls you a Snapple cap.
What do you mean? Your cousin
yes. She is now a Snapple cat.
I have so many nicknames. Snapple cap?
Yeah.
He said, also, did you know the mucus in your stomach won't fight the coronavirus? Damn it.
By the way, apparently I do say, did you know a lot? Because my 4-year-old says it to me. I just caught that the other week. She said, it's not a matter of you saying, did you know? That's not the problem. The problem is, bitch, nobody knew. So you'll say it. So you guys didn't know, or my favorite is, so you know. She'll do that. That's her version of Pammy. So you know. Like, girl, no, I didn't stay up reading this shit, I don't know. I just get curious and then I dive into it, and then I'm like 30 articles later, like I have it memorized. I can't.
That's why when she be snapping on folks on the internet, she be writing them pages. If she be
don't come for us, CJ gonna clap back. Don't come. I'm gonna clap back.
Well, in conclusion, wash your hands, and you need to be safe. And also, I'll say this only because I'm at 3%, and I gotta get up in the morning.
Yeah, we gotta go.
I posted it, and I read a really cool article. Not cool. It was kind of sad, but a girl basically giving her kind of diary on what she's doing over there. She posted it, and it just had more empathy outside of the memes, because yes, everything could be funny and shit, but I'm just like, I could not imagine having my city that quiet, like she said it was there, and everything being sold out. And she's like, I only have this and some beans and some rice, but there's not any more rice. And I'm just like, fuck.
So
I'd
like
be scared.
the store, I was just watching that the grocery stores have like these things up now, and there's people who are in gear who are like, some stores, they're letting people in, but only 2 people at a time, and they can only shop for 10 minutes. Like, they're giving them, you know, so they get to go in. Or if they don't have something like that in place, it's chaos, because like hundreds of people were running to these stores that are open. And also there's fights breaking out in China right now when people aren't wearing masks. So if you're not wearing a mask, you're not supposed to use transport either. So people are mad because you can't buy masks because they're sold out. So they can't get on transport to go to work. So now they have no money to go buy food. Like, it's a vicious cycle of
it's scary for them.
This guy got on Twitter, their version of Twitter, it's called Weibo. This guy got on Weibo and was like videoing himself in the middle of this market, which should have been filled with people because the Lunar New Year is still continuing, right? And he was like, this is not a movie. Like, this is not a set. Like, it's really this empty. Like you were saying, like, it's just empty. Like, I cannot imagine people being boarded up by their own families into their own rooms and houses.
And
like,
then the girl that
so
wrote
crazy.
that article, she lives alone. So she's like, the only time I really hear noise is because like maybe I'll hear some steps or something from the neighbors. And I'm just like, that isolation, isolation in that way. It's one thing when you do it to yourself. You know, like, I just want to be on an island away from people. It's another
not by
thing
choice.
Your society and government's like, we're shutting this down. It's like what you see in movies, and that never looks like a comfortable situation. It's always full of fear.
And can we just real quickly say how China thinks that we're overreacting by stopping flights? Are they crazy? Like, they're mad that the U.S. went ahead and stopped flights to China, and then once U.S. did that, all the other countries follow. So there are no flights going in or out of that area of China, and they're really upset. And I'm just like, so y'all are worried more about the money and economy than people's lives. I mean, obviously that's like gonna happen, but I just, you know.
Oh, I'm on 1%.
Yeah, like, let's wrap it up. So on that note, if you enjoy our news angle, make sure you catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. Central. Listen to us on your way to work. We're a lot of fun.
Yes. Oh, shout out to Playboy. Damn it, I forget your Instagram name. You know who I'm talking about. He actually said he wants to be on the show one time, so I'll talk to you guys about that. He's the one that listens to us at like 3 or 4 a.m. when he's going to work.
I'm
down.
I
told him to start sending the videos he sends me to our triangle page. It's so funny. Like,
and if he doesn't mind, I'd love to post it. Like, ask him. That's
what I'm saying. Like, the references he makes, you can tell he watches our show, because he's like, he did impressions of everybody. He's like, CJ be like this, D be like that. I'm like, this. He was like, even if I'm on there for a couple of seconds, I just want to tell y'all I fuck with y'all for real. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, so listen to us. If you love us, subscribe to our podcast platforms. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, comment, hit that bell for notifications.
Send us money.
We're pretty good. We're gonna start a TikTok this weekend, I believe. So check us out.
Oh, we'll start dancing.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Let's do some dance videos. I'm serious. Let's do it. I'm down. All right, y'all. Peace out. Be blessed. Stay hygiened up. Wash your hands. Don't panic.
Don't touch your eyes.
Get you some water.
Wash your hands. Wash your ass.
All of that. All right, y'all. Have a good one. We stupid. Bye.